Where you from?
I'm from Turkey.
How long have you been living in Korea?
I came here almost 1 year.
And what do you do for a living in Korea?
Before I was working here at restaurants and coffee shop, that kind of place. But these days I make money by doing TikTok live.
What advice would you give to foreigners that would like to move to Korea?
If you want to live in Korea, you need to work here. Like if you want to stay a really long time. And if you don't even know Korean, you can work here, I think. But if you know Korean, it's plus for you. In Korea, I think it's easy to find job. I'm thinking like this.
How did you find your job? And what was it like working at a restaurant in Korea?
There's most of this kind of application for finding job. After I start the restaurant, it was a little bit hard because I'm living in Korea and my Korean not perfect. It sometimes can be hard, but when the time pass, it's going to be better. If you don't know Korean, you can find as an English job.
What is the name of the app you used?
It's Albamon. You can see most of different kind of jobs, restaurants, pub, and not only restaurants. You can find as a like teacher, like this kind of job too. I think this is most of popular application in Korea.
Where you from?
I'm from Russia.
How long have you been living in Korea?
For 2 years and half.
And what do you do for a living in Korea?
I'm study in university.
What do you study at a university?
I'm study media communication.
How hard is it to get into a university in Korea as a foreigner?
I think it's not hard, just you should have money.
How much is the tuition fee per semester?
4 million won.
Where are you from?
I'm from Spain.
How long have you been in Korea?
I've been in Korea like 2 years.
What do you do for a living in Korea?
So I do like content creation.
And how did you get into creating content in Korea?
I started in YouTube first, doing blogs with my girlfriend, but then I started to do everything by myself.
What is one advice you'd give to foreigners that would like to come in Korea?
I think if they come to Korea at first, I recommend them to have a Korean friend because it's really hard to start living here, especially when you have to do some documents and stuff. So I recommend that.
Where are you from?
I was born in Congo. I grew up in South Africa, and I currently live in Canada.
How long have you been living in Korea?
Probably a year and 2 months.
What do you do out here for a living in Korea as a foreigner?
Well, before I used to teach in a hagwon. Right now, I'm just here on a tourist visa, but I'm exploring my options in entertainment. So I'd be interested in potentially modeling, acting, and making content as well.
You made mention about being an English teacher before. How was your experience with that?
Oh, it's definitely not for the weak. Obviously, it varies per hagwon. You just have to have a positive mindset. As long as you make it about the kids, about the content you're teaching, it will be okay.
You mentioned earlier on that you are exploring the entertainment industry. How has that been for you?
It has been quite difficult just because it's becoming more saturated. More foreigners are obviously interested in coming out to Korea and trying for entertainment. So I'd say right now it's a little bit difficult. I have been applying to agencies, but as long as you study the market and you know what agencies are looking for specifically in Korea, I think it should be okay.
Are you planning a trip to Korea soon? Well, I got you covered with my Seoul Travel Like a Local guidebook. The guidebook contains essential phrases that will help you communicate to the locals, recommended courses for travelers, local food spots, and also popular clubs in Seoul for those of you who are into nightlife. And a lot of you always ask me where I shop my clothes at. I have a segment in the guidebook where I shop my clothes from. And that is not all. I have a special segment in the guidebook called Olive Young Recommendations for those of you who are into Korean skincare. So if you'd like to travel to Seoul like a local on your next trip to Korea, I'll have all the links to my guidebook in the description right below that like button. Where are you from?
I'm from Mongolia.
How long have you been in Korea?
I've been in Korea for 15 years.
Then what do you do for a living in Korea?
I work in the medical industry. So I've been working in this industry for almost 10 years.
And how has that been so far, working in Korea as a foreigner in the medical industry?
It's hard. It's fun sometimes, but it's almost depending on the company that you work at, it's stressful.
How can other foreigners get into your type of job if they want to work in Korea?
So the reason why I got this job at 9 years ago is because I can speak Korean fluently, and then I could translate to Mongolian. So that's how it started. And then I think if you can speak English, that's plus 100 that you can get a job in in Korea. So you have to, like, as a Mongolian or like as a non-English speaker, you just have to speak the Korean language like perfectly.
Where you from?
Me? Oh, shoot. I'm from America, Maryland.
How long have you been in Korea?
I've been in Korea for 9 years.
And what do you do for a living in Korea?
I work in entertainment right now, so I do a lot of modeling, acting, and stuff. You guys caught me at the worst time because I just came from a shooting, and I was like, I want to be comfortable after it, but yeah, I look like a bum, but it's okay.
How can foreigners get into your type of work in Korea?
That's a tricky situation because it's not difficult to get into entertainment in Korea because they do sell the visas, which is kind of illegal, which I don't have. I have like a residency visa. But when you buy the visa and you don't know the stuff, it kind of like diminishes the quality of the work and makes prices go down. But if you are like really talented and stuff, I would say come through and do your best. But if you're just like on a K-pop dream, I don't think it's worth it because you're going to be struggling really hard, like looking to make ends meet.
Why do you think the entertainment market is hard like in Korea for foreigners?
Because people don't know, Korea is actually like the Wild Wild West. When you model in Europe or the States or something, they have rules and regulations. So if a Samsung or LG commercial is supposed to be this price, you know you're going to get this price. But in Korea, they can lie and they can cheat. Some agencies do that, so you might be getting this price, and you just get in a big like fight with agencies and stuff sometimes.
Where are you from?
I'm from London, UK.
And how long have you been in Korea?
So I've been in Korea for about a year now.
What do you do for work in Korea?
So I currently don't actually have a job in Korea. I have a job in the UK and I work remotely.
And if you don't mind me asking, like, what job is that?
Yeah, so I'm currently a data engineer and I run a data consultancy as well.
That's amazing. So how can someone that would like to get into your field of work get into your field of work? How long do you see yourself living in Korea?
So originally it was about 2 years, but recently plans have changed. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
How are you able to work around in like the visa with having like a remote job like back home?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So originally I was on the work and holiday visa, but recently Korea's released the digital nomad visa. So I'm currently looking into switching over to that.
Where are you from?
I'm from Nigeria.
And how long have you been living in South Korea?
6 years in South Korea. Yeah.
And what do you do for a living in South Korea?
Currently, I do global business development for a medical device manufacturing company, and also I do business consulting for Korean businesses that are interested in exploring the African market.
How were you able to get into your type of job in South Korea?
While I was a student, I was very close to this particular professor, and the professor sent me links and informations about certain kinds of networking events in Seoul because I was shuffling between Daejeon and Seoul back then. I met a couple of Korean guys that introduced me to a particular kind of program that was designed for residents of Seoul. It's kind of like the Seoul Youth Program, so it caters to residents of Seoul that are unemployed. So I applied on the website. I actually did my internship under a particular company, and I was being paid by the Korean government for at least 4 months. And during that time, I was kind of a little bit scared because I thought maybe after the internship, they were not going to retain me. But luckily, after the internship, they retained me. And I'd say this is like my 14th month working in the corporate world in South Korea.
Can you talk a little bit more about working in the corporate world?
I did modeling full-time for 5 years, so transitioning from the modeling industry, or let's say, as we call it in South Korea, the entertainment industry, into the corporate world was kind of a little bit difficult for me, sitting on the desk like 9 to 6, and taxing myself and trying to find something to do to keep myself busy was really difficult for me, but it took time and I got used to it.
Where are you from?
Hi, I'm from Sri Lanka.
What do you do for a living in Korea?
I work as a marketer in Korea, so I'm just normal 직장인.
So as a foreigner living in Korea, how can you get your type of job?
First of all, you have to graduate Korean university. That would be better. And you have to speak English, necessary. And Korean. Maybe if you speak another language like French or something, that will be easier to find a job.
Where are you from?
I'm from Algeria.
How long have you been living in Korea?
I've been like 1 year and a half, almost. Yeah.
And what do you do for a living in Korea?
I'm model and actor in Korea.
And how can someone get into your type of job in Korea?
Just applying for the agencies, having some kind of portfolios sent to agencies, and that's all.
How hard or easy is it to become a model or actor in Korea?
It's depend on the person and depend on the experience.
What was your experience like?
I'm an Arabic champion twice in esports, and that was my start in beginnings, and then I ended up being a model and actor. Then boom, I'm in Korea again.
Where are you from?
I'm from the Netherlands.
And how long have you been living in Korea?
I've been here since the end of March, so it's not been long.
What do you do for a living in Korea?
So I was here for an internship, but funny story that actually ended yesterday. I was meant to stay there until the end of September, but I guess that the Korean working culture is not really it for me, so that's why I decided to quit the internship.
What internship was that?
It was a fashion internship, so I was doing marketing stuff, like focusing on the global marketing, but it just didn't turn out the way I thought it would be.
How were you able to land that internship?
I actually got that through a company which kind of organizes internships throughout the entirety of Asia. And I always wanted to, I guess, expand my knowledge, my experiences into a country which is not a Western one. So that's why I decided to go to Asia. And I know that the fashion culture here is kind of at its peak, or I would say it's kind of really present. So that's why I thought Korea would be fit.
Where are you from?
I'm originally born in Russia, but from Turkmenistan.
How long have you been living in Korea?
Since 2017.
What do you do for a living in Korea?
I work at an IT company as an overseas business division team leader.
How were you able to get your job as a foreigner in Korea?
I applied through Job Korea, although I was in my previous company, not really happy. So I tried to look for a job. And I searched for companies that hire foreigners, and then I applied. Had an interview, and they accepted me because I had a background of doing the overseas business at my previous company. And they saw my Korean skills and English skills. I think those are one of the main important factors. And plus, the graduating from a Sky University was a plus.
As a foreigner in Korea, how can you find a job in Korea?
I would say try going to the company's official websites, search on the Job Korea. But a lot of Job Korea applications, they don't really accept it. So I would say use a network that you have, people that work at different companies, ask how they actually hire people, and try to go through those websites, make your CV that is up to the standard of Korean standard. So that way you are able to get a job easily, I would say.
Where are you from?
I'm from France.
How long have you been living in Korea?
I've been living in Korea for a year and a half now.
What do you do for a living in Korea?
Right now, I don't work. I prepare to enter university.
And how is that going for you?
It's difficult.
How so?
I'm just studying a lot every day.
So, what is the process of studying to go to a university like in Korea?
Right now, I'm preparing for the TOPIK exam. So I'm basically studying Korean, and I'm also making a portfolio because I want a major that requires a portfolio.
Where are you from?
So I was born in Kenya and raised in America, so I consider myself Kenyan American.
And how long have you been living in Korea?
Well, I first came in 2014 to just travel, and then again in 2015 just to travel, and then I came again in 2018 for study abroad in Yonsei, and then I came to work in Korea in the end of 2018. I came back, yeah. So I graduated and then I came back.
What do you do for work in Korea?
So I came here as a model first. So I started in the modeling industry, and then I advanced into doing TV shows in Korea, and then I am now in acting, and then now I have my own podcast about Korea. So I have done a lot.
So how can someone get into your line of work?
Reach out to agencies in Korea, and I would highly suggest you have some type of experience before coming, because your pay depends on your experience. So if you're not really experienced, you're gonna have a hard time surviving in Korea.
Where are you from?
I am Nigerian.
How long have you been living in Korea?
1 year and a half.
What do you do out here for a living in Korea?
Here in Korea, I'm an entertainer, entrepreneur.
Where are you from?
I'm from India.
How long have you been in Korea?
I've been here for almost 3 years now.
What do you do for a living?
I'm currently a master's student and I'm studying computer science engineering.
After graduating, do you plan on staying in Korea?
I am planning on staying in Korea because I'm quite interested to see how Korean work culture is. I don't know if it will be for long term, but for right now, I plan on staying here.